Hey guys, welcome back to Spring Fever this week. This week we're going to dive into diaphragm calls. You know, I'm going to approach this video if you're past the brand new beginner in terms of, opening up a mouth call, throwing it in your mouth, and trying to produce sound. We've covered that in previous videos, and this video is going to concentrate more on what the different styles and how to produce certain tones and pitches that you're trying to achieve in a hunting situation, and how different mouth calls will factor into that. So today I'm going to actually break this down a little bit. Couple key things I want to start off reminding you right from the start is how that thing operates. And general rule of thumb, we're blowing air over latex, and that's creating noise. But what I want you to remember is mouth calls are built with those layers of latex. So if you hear somebody say it's a 2-reed call or double reed call, or it's a 3-reed call or a 4-reed call, whatever, they're talking about how many layers of latex they have stacked in that mouth call and then stretched and compacted into that call. General rule of thumb, the more layers that are packed on top of each other, the more air is required to produce sound. The less amount of reeds that you have in that call, the easier it is to produce sound. And when I say easier, I mean less air. Now, if you are, a mouth call guy and you're just got that thing, that's the only thing you carry, and you're working a bird for several hours, it can get kind of exhausting just blowing air all the time. It's like going for a run and you're breathing hard the entire time. So having a mouth call that works easy and fits you best is going to definitely help you out in the long run. I get questions all the time. This is the reason why I want to do this video. I'm getting tons of questions right now on, hey, what mouth call would you prefer for me? And the big thing is everybody's mouth is shaped differently, and a mouth call that fits me may not fit you, and it's definitely going to fit in my mouth differently than it's going to fit in yours. And finding that right cut, the right cut with the right reed combination that works with your specific setup is what's going to make or break if you can run a mouth call or not. Now, again, this is past the point of trying to learn how to just make a yelp. This video is trying to concentrate: are you getting the tones, are you getting the pitches out of your mouth call that you are desiring? And that we're going to look at that here real quick. So first off, I've got several different mouth calls here laid out that I carry, and I'm going to use those and kind of work through the situation. I'm going to start out with our green double reed call. Now, this double reed call here, I use this for soft calling, whines and whistles, stuff like that. And then you can see, to get the tones that I want, I've actually taken scissors and I've cut the back of this thing off. It's just squared off, and that way I can get that pushed up farther into the roof of my mouth to get the sound that I'm really wanting to achieve. Now, this thing is a 2-reed call. It's a straight reed. Both reeds are straight, and this thing is so easy to work because it requires hardly any air to operate. The other thing is with the top latex is usually cut, right? That's where your V cuts come in, your ghost cuts, your bat wings, however that top latex is cut, kind of labels the call. Well, those cuts are there for a reason, and those cuts are what produces rasp. Okay, so now I've got 2 double reed calls laying here, and I'm going to kind of show you the difference in these tones and pitches. One, this one's being straight, and since there's no cuts in it, there's hardly any rasp in this call versus a 2-reed call that is cut. So I'm going to throw this in. So I'm just going to kind of blow air out, and I want you guys kind of hear the pitches that I'm getting with this. Those are pretty high notes, and that's the reason why I like using this call for like my whines and my whistles when I'm calling. Our blue mouth call here, this is a double reed, but this is a double reed V cut. Now I'm going to throw this in and I want to compare these sounds just by blowing out, and I want to show you the difference in these two calls. Remember how high pitched this one is? Now, you can tell that one there is got some gravelly, raspy, nasty stuff in it compared to this thing that's a lot higher pitch. You know, and that's all because this has got straight reeds in it, and this one, the top layer's cut. I mean, that's the only thing that's different. They're both double reed calls. That's what changes that. Now, we can get into some specifics and talk about how tight we're stretching that latex and things like that. But that's for very advanced. The main concept here is I want you to understand is straight reed versus something that's got a top reed cut. You can see that difference. Now let's throw these in and yelp with them, and I'll show you kind of where I use this. So I can get those soft yelps on this, and they're pretty clean. And I can also muffle it down and kind of use it like if I'm, getting tight and I'm, soft calling to them on a limb right off the roost. That's what I like this call about. It's a lot softer. This thing here, this is my all-around favorite mouth call. This is what I run most of the time. If I'm working a bird 90% of the time, I've got this. Let's listen to the yelp on it. Okay, it's got a little bit more rasp in it. I can get higher volume with it, and I can just be more aggressive with this style. Now, the last one we're going to look at here is the batwing. Now, our batwing is a 3-reed call, and you can see it's got the batwing there cut on top. Now, I'm going to throw this in, and I want to show you the difference in the tone of this call. This, since it's a 3-reed, it does take a lot more air to push. Now, this thing is pretty high pitched. It's a pretty high pitched call. Now, the reason why I carry a batwing, this is the call that I go to key key on, because it's got that higher pitch, but with having the V's in it, I can do a key run, and the run on the end of it has that, that bark on the end, that rasp on the end. So here, let's try a key on this. So, again, I'm not able to achieve that call as easily on these other calls. Now, I can key on that blue mouth call. As a matter of fact, I think the video I did and, learned to key on, I did on a yellow ghost cut. I'm able to perform those calls on those different diaphragms. But when I actually sit down and I go through my mouth calls, I know which one's easier to do and which one takes less air to make that sound and less effort just all around. So it really is vital that you just get a handful of different cuts, different layers of latex, and try to just figure out what works for you and figure out what sound you want to make. If you want that yelp to be high pitch and raspy, then find a call that's got the proper cut for you and there's a proper cut of reeds that you're able to perform that call on. If you're wanting something that's easy and hardly any effort to use just to make sound, and you want to produce something low, then you need something with the least amount of reeds in it and hardly any cuts in it to produce those soft whines and clucks. Now, if you're an advanced mouth caller, this video doesn't really pertain to you. This is to help those people that are struggling to learn this art. And like I said, I get questions. The past month, we have just been hammered with mouth call questions. And it's just different for everybody. You know, if you jump on our website, you can buy the 5-pack bundle for $25. It's $5 a piece. You can't go to Walmart and buy one off the shelf for that. So, you know, just get a handful of them and try them out and see what you guys come up with. In terms of care, make sure you guys are, you know, kind of washing them off through the season. I know that, you know, EP just, you know, keeps his in his pocket or, you know, in his man purse or whatever he does, and doesn't ever care about them. Try to keep them, you know, cleaned out. Throw them in a cool place so that they're not growing mold in them. And at the end of the year, make sure if you are going to try and keep them, try to put a toothpick or something like that in them to keep the reeds spread out, and put them in a refrigerator, and, you know, try to keep them as best as possible. That latex will eventually dry up after being wet and crack and bust. So please be careful using an old diaphragm. Like I said in a previous video, I just chuck mine at the end of the year and, you know, get a different one. So that just seems the best case scenario for me. So hopefully you guys got something out of this video. If you guys got any other questions about diaphragms and tones and pitches, you can, you know, keep emailing us or shoot us a message on Facebook, whatever. So be sure to like and subscribe to all of our social media, and we'll see you guys next week.